The Brethren of Chaos podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Brethren of Chaos podcast. I'm Callum. We've got Charles and Steve today. How are you doing, guys? Good?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Looking forward to this.
I'm excited.
This week, we're going to have a little talk about unethical human experiments.
The good stuff.
Yeah. Just a light topic. To continue the theme. Yeah. I think you're going to lead us, Steve. We know a little bit. We're going to have a nice little discussion, aren't we? I think?
Yeah. Well, I said from the start we should all the World War II stuff, the Nazi stuff, and the Japanese stuff. We can save that for another time.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of that stuff's like really fucked up.
The juicy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like heavy going.
Oh, that's great. Ease them into it.
Yeah, we'll ease you in. But funniest, like, so I took a few here. The funniest thing I was thinking about, what I kept on coming across, is it all seems to be American, like American studies and American. Those, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why is it just them? It's not, you're not coming across like some unethical experiment happening in like Belgium. Something. It always just seems to be in America.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, when I was listening about different stuff, and I'm thinking, why do they feel the need to
just keep doing it? Well,
to do it to humans?
I suppose one argument is like the size of America, the amount of like institutions and universities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I suppose you kind of you're gonna rack up a few numbers, aren't you, compared to like another country which probably doesn't have the funding.
That's true. We are the half the size of Texas, aren't we?
Yeah.
So,
oh god, that's
well,
I don't even think about that.
Yeah, well, even like when I know some of the things you've looked at, the ones that I looked at, they were saying that even the science that comes out of it isn't really that groundbreaking.
Yeah,
they don't really find out much.
Yeah.
But they keep on doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't answer any like big questions. It just fucking people look at it, glance over, and go, "Oh, that's not too well."
Yeah.
Let's do another one.
Yeah. So what have we got? What have we got first? What's in store?
So I think I'll start on the Tuskegee experiment, which
Tuskegee.
Yeah, place in Alabama.
Aye. Yeah.
Ooh.
Seems it's a pretty unethical one, definitely. So this one, 1932, and it was involving African Americans. I feel like they were always the subject to the experiments as well.
It's going to be heavy already, isn't it? This is not great.
So already there, it's like it's what's that? It's taken. There's racist elements, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks at that. Yeah.
Especially in 1930s as well. Like that's
peak.
Yeah, that's peak levels, isn't it?
Well, I saw there was like a whole. You could have gone down a whole rabbit hole on like race, like science and race and stuff. Like
yeah,
the experiments like that were involved in that.
Yeah, comes like Aryans.
Yeah,
doing all that shit.
It's mental, isn't it? It's like Native American stuff as well. Like,
yeah,
I bet they were doing some dodgy stuff when they got over there, experimenting on the Native Americans and stuff.
Seeing what they're like.
Stuff. I'm sure I glanced over stuff like that, but.
Grab the shaman, get his knowledge.
Christopher Columbus doing it to the natives.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not stopped them before, has it?
Well, okay, so this experiment, it was about finding like the effects of syphilis and like over long term, like how it affects you and how people deal with it. So it started off with 600 people. 399 of them actually had syphilis. And 201 of them wasn't, and the whole of the group was like a black male population. And so I think it was like Tuskegee was the college or the college that ran it in Alabama, this place, and basically everybody involved didn't know that this was like an experiment to see like the effects of syphilis and see like what was going on. They just told them you're going to get like free healthcare and you're going to get looked after. And I think they were like poor as well, so I think they gave them like free meals and stuff like that.
Oh. They were all farmers, weren't they? Like,
was that it? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them were farmers, and it was like this big meal that they get after the treatment was.
That would make sense.
It was placebo, wasn't it? That's what the whole thing was about.
The placebo effect.
Yeah, it was like they thought they were being treated,
Yeah.
but they weren't actually.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just an so what is syphilis, first of all?
What's
To
the
me.
I don't know. I don't know how
sexually
you...
transmitted disease?
Yeah, but it's like it affects like your whole body, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So there were people going blind and stuff, weren't they?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it gets you right at the end.
Ah, okay.
It looks a bit like leprosy, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Mm.
And it was amongst these because they were so poor and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that. Well, I know that was the stigma of why a lot of black people were getting it. Like.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. Well, so basically these 600 people in this experiment. So in the first year, it was so it basically took 2 years of following these people. Like, I don't know how often they were getting tested, doing like blood testing and stuff like that coming in. And then after the second year, that was like when the first papers were published on it, like the effects of untreated syphilis. And when they were picking the candidates for this experiment, they deliberately picked like the poorest and the most like illiterate ones,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't find out like the true cause
awful, isn't it?
of the experiment.
Because they couldn't read the.
Yeah, they couldn't read the small print.
Couldn't read the paper. They couldn't really get to the
Yeah.
core of the papers that they were releasing.
So, like the main problem that was unethical about this, obviously they didn't know there was that one. They didn't know what was going on.
Mm.
They just thought like we're getting free healthcare. I'm gonna get like, I think they were gonna get treated for other stuff as well. You know, like not tested, but like going to get help with other stuff they might be suffering with. And then the other one was so penicillin came out, and by 1940s that was like a widely like available thing that you could treat syphilis with.
Right.
And by the time this experiment was going on, it went on for 40 years. By the way, this experiment.
40 years.
Yeah.
I saw that it was only meant the initial plan was for when they were going for the funding and all that of it was a year.
A year.
Wow.
40
How come it
years.
lasts that long then?
I have no. I think they just rolled with it.
Yeah.
Just kept on going.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
kept going.
Wow.
But by the 40s, so it's like already 10 years into the experiment. Penicillin was like used for syphilis treating. I don't think it cures it, but I think it helps it.
It just came off the back of the war as well. It was massive in
That was it, yeah.
the Second World War, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And penicillin kind of like rose from there.
Well, they never offered or gave these people penicillin deliberately to keep them on, like, to keep them with syphilis,
Yeah.
so they could keep like tracking it.
But if someone's just getting bare funding and just living their life
Yeah.
through whatever funding they're getting and just keeping this going, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it sounds like.
That's like the government used to give them used to be on them all the time because they wanted to make sure so syphilis is like obviously really infectious. So they were like, well, you've got all these people, you're not doing anything, you're just keeping them infectious.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
were saying like, oh, because it's at the last stages of syphilis, it's not as infectious. And eventually they had to start giving them a tiny bit of the treatment to treat syphilis just to make them not infectious, but it would never cure them.
Basically try and like look like they're trying to
Yeah.
help.
Like, oh, okay, we'll give them a little bit just to
Yeah.
just so they can't spread it round.
So imagine like you're in charge of this experiment,
Mm.
these like 600 people, and you have the chance to help them and like not cure the syphilis, but like make their suffering less. But you're going, no, let's keep it going. Let's find out the effects. So that's like the big unethical question about that.
Yeah.
And they said like after 40 years, 120 of them died from the syphilis.
Oh my God.
That could have been saved.
Oh,
Like
that
they
is
could have been
awful.
like, if they could have been treated and like not died from the syphilis.
Mm.
But then obviously, I don't know if more died due to other effects. You know, like probably that the penicillin couldn't have saved.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, everybody's just left to suffer for that long.
Yeah. I couldn't get round like in my head like why did they feel the need to like to say it, like why did these white doctors feel the need to go and find out what the brutal results of syphilis were? Like, why did they want to know?
Yeah,
When it can be treated, it was because it was being treated. There was
yeah. There was already
there's
stuff.
medicine there.
Yeah.
To treat it. Why did they feel the need to be like, let's get like how many people, like 300 people,
There was 600.
600 people
Yeah.
together, Yeah.
What, over the 40-year span?
Yeah, that was like right from the start, 600 people that they
Oh, right, from
that
the
they just
beginning.
measured from the whole thing. But I think they were looking at like how it treated to, because if you have syphilis, your kids can get it as well. Being born with it.
Yeah.
I think they were looking.
So they wanted that span.
I think they kind of like, say, let's see let's have a look at these effects as well on the children. Not offer them any help or anything.
Yeah.
Pretend that we're giving them free healthcare and helping them with other stuff, but
So penicillin came out,
Yeah.
and this is still going on. Who are the funders during this that are going, well, penicillin's come out, what have you been doing for the last 40 years?
what's going on?
I know.
Well,
It was a government thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
backed by the government in America.
Thing is, I think part of it as well is like there's so many different institutes, isn't there, in America?
Everyone's just doing their own stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
All the time.
Like they're all like 3 letters, aren't they?
Mm.
The DCF,
UAL,
Yeah.
BACL.
just like fucking funding,
Yeah.
interlinked with all sorts of like places and university colleges. So I presume like there's just all sorts going on, isn't there, from the background?
Yeah.
Different states have different laws
Yeah, that's
and
it as well.
everything. Like, so they could probably just get away with it for such a period of time, just doing what they want with that amount of funding.
Yeah.
And coming from the government, are we just talking from their like the highest type, or what?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was something to do with the university
Mm.
as well, like the Tuskegee University.
Right.
But like all of them seem to have universities doing it as well,
Yeah. Because they can get
Pulling-
the funding, can't they? It's mad.
pulling the strings.
Educational.
Yeah.
Well, did you see anything about why? Like, because this only blew up and didn't all the controversy came from it. It was a daughter was like a young girl was looking at it, and did she see like a picture of her dad or her dad's name was in it, and she was like, what the hell is this? So she goes to her dad and is asking her dad about it, and he doesn't have a clue.
What?
He doesn't know.
So he was involved in the whole experiment and didn't have a clue.
And I had no idea.
Yeah.
doing the Men in Black kind of
Yeah.
thingy memory wipe.
Wipe
thing.
it.
yeah. Completely gone.
Yeah. So that blew it all up. But I think they tried to sue. I think they took them to court.
I think a few people won as well, didn't they?
Yeah, but I know a few people got settled outside of
Yeah.
court,
yeah.
so just paid them off.
There you go. There you go. Take a load
Yeah,
of money.
it was poor families from Alabama, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gonna take.
You're going to take anything, aren't
Yeah.
they? They've been exploiting them for so many years, and they've basically just exploited them again. By just,
Yeah.
here, we'll give you the bare minimum because we know you need it.
Yeah.
Save you all this trouble of going through this process.
Yeah, $60.
Well,
There's a free meal.
that's
Yeah.
a lot of money back then. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was mad. It's like, what else did I see? There wasn't like there was an award named after the doctor who started it all. I can't remember what his name was.
Yes, I feel like I did
And
come across that
they
as well.
renamed it in like 2013.
Wow.
Took him out of it.
Yeah, they were like, oh, maybe we should change this.
Yeah.
Cancel culture. Innit?
So if you were running that experiment, how would you go about it? Would you be doing it like that?
I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't in the first place.
you
No.
wouldn't be doing it at all. You wouldn't be touching this.
No. I'd have a wide range of people, first of all.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So black males, I mean, that's not...
It's seriously taking advantage of them, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
like the people who.
Yeah, and like making sure they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that I think a poignant point of it is that fact that they were getting the people that can't read.
Yeah,
Just,
Yeah. It's totally different to like the Stanford thing where they're like paying them and they all know about, well, to a degree.
yeah.
When we get onto that a bit later, but if you're gonna do something like that, you wanna almost make it a job, don't you?
Yeah,
It's like you've got syphilis already.
yeah. I think if you're doing an experiment, you don't want your people unaware.
Yeah.
But then again, there could be like,
You find out more, wouldn't you, if they're unaware?
yeah,
The
there's
worst thing about that is that all the medication that was out there, all the treatment that was there that could have
helped them.
kept them alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst bit.
See, then people could argue they wouldn't have. Well, I don't know what data they did get from it, but you're not going to get the data, aren't you?
No.
If you.
Well, that's it. That was one of the cases of like when you look at the science. That was so this big, massive, unethical science experiment done on
Lasted
humans.
40 years.
Lasted 40 years, and the science, all the results from it, is just like, what?
basically
yeah.
died for nothing.
Yeah.
Why did you do? What is this?
Yeah.
At
Well,
the end, syphilis kills you eventually.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We already knew that.
Yeah, it's just that's like top unethical. Because I was listening, and then when when we brought up that we were going to have a look at unethical human experiments, and I'm thinking the biggest horror stories of people being tortured and all that. And then you look at this, and I'm listening to this one. It's the first one I listened to, and I'm going, oh, it's not what I expected. And then you're looking into it, and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's evil.
It is evil. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
But it's evil from an overarching perspective. It's not like a direct kind of, you know, when you were talking about human experiments that are like, you hear all the horror stories, and we didn't go into any details, but from like overarching, you can see why like someone would get away with that and just kind of live their life, especially if they're getting a lot of funding from it. Like, how much of that funding is actually going into the research of that project? Are they actually enveloped that much in the project? Do they want to research it, or are they just bare chilling with all the cash?
Yeah, there are definitely questions that probably like...
Because what funding do you need for that? All you're doing is giving them meals.
I know,
They're not giving them any... You're not paying for any medication, not paying for any...
Accommodation?
Yeah.
Are they paying for accommodation?
No. People just
just
go home.
Yeah,
Jesus.
just letting them live their lives.
And do they have like day jobs and stuff like that, these people?
Yeah. I think they were farmers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, it was like a farming community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just went over to this farmer community and was like, we need 600 of you and we'll give you a big fat meal.
Yeah.
Well, they knew. So I think it was a what, like the government. I think they must. I don't know how it must have started, but I was like heard that it was they were trying to find the like the highest concentration of say like people with syphilis in the south of America, and they found like Tuskegee had like 35% infection rate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
African American
Don't want
males.
us to go to Tuxedo, do you?
Yeah.
Turn up there.
Part of the experiment.
Yeah. There's a big sign when you come into the place, just like stay away from here. 35%
Syphilis capital of the world.
Well, I think like one of the other things as well is like syphilis is like contagious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you can spread it. In this experiment, like the people running the experiment knew that the people are spreading it around, and they're not like telling them, aren't they? They're not like explaining that to them.
No.
They're not saying or helping the people who are getting it.
Educating them.
Yeah.
They're not educating them, are they? Yeah.
They're just taking notes, seeing how quick it spreads.
Yeah. Awful, isn't it? And then what came from this is the big stigma of like black people in America still to this day don't like going to white doctors.
Oh, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them after that.
blame
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. There's sort of stories that people drive out of states and just to go to see doctors because they don't feel comfortable with, because they say like statistically black people in America are given like less medication in childbirth and stuff when they're going through childbirth.
Such a fucked up place, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's so
fuck
fucked
that.
up. So fucked up. Who'd fucking live there?
I know, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Stay here, north of England. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, actually, to be fair, in hindsight, it is quite good compared to what we've been talking about over there. It's always the British cults, not British cults. It's always the normal cults that are happening in the US, isn't it? All the crazy
yeah.
cults.
Yeah.
Now this.
All
What
the
else?
experiments.
Yeah.
We're literally going to be talking about these guys for ages. It's going to be the podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be full America.
It is, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just talking about all the crazy things from our sisterland.
Well, sister land. Oh, weird uncle land.
Yeah.
I think it like the people themselves must play a part in it. The size of the country, the amount of money they have.
Yeah, but I mean, even there's just as bigger ones, aren't there? So like, and you don't hear that as crazy.
Do you reckon they've
Yeah.
got like a complex where they feel like they're playing catch up because it's a really young country, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of the size of them and the power that they've got, and they're like, probably back in the early 1900s, they were like, let's try and let's just find out as much as we can as possible.
Yeah,
let's try and cheat the system a little bit.
Yeah, let's do as much as possible.
Yeah.
No, I see what you mean.
So they just went a bit mad, didn't they?
Yeah.
In every aspect.
Even the culture. Culture
Yeah.
alone is just like, what the fuck?
Oh, the whole culture of America is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
They
mad.
love themselves, don't they?
See, I know a few people who are Americans, and like I know a few of them who are like sound as fuck,
Mm.
and like they think that as well. You know, like the people who I know American who sound admit, and say like
crazy, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they are. I mean, it's like it's just different generations. I mean, if you talk to like my granddad now, I mean, he's full on Brexiteer, so
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just generations.
yeah,
and
yeah,
I think,
definitely.
as time goes on, then that stigma will lessen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that one's the Tuskegee experiment.
Lovely one to start off with.
Where would you rate that on the unethical scale? You had
On our unethical scale.
10. Oh yeah. Well, our one might be a bit
We're gonna do our
distorted.
own.
Oh, it's great for our one, isn't it? It's not that bad.
Pretty high up, isn't it? Yeah. Was there any children involved?
Yeah, any molestation?
Yeah.
No? Okay, well, it's great then.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Top of the scale. That.
Okay. So,
6 out of 10.
do you have any experiments?
Any additional stuff? Well, I'd look at the Sanford one.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
go to that one? Yeah?
Should we jump onto?
Another American one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think most of them were American, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think they were.
Maybe like if you think about science and like psychology, it is a very Western thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And what? There was none of them ever got in trouble with the police. Not like no one's in prison because
Yeah.
of the experiments they did. There must have been grey areas in the laws or whatever it was, because you couldn't get away with that here
No, like
at all. They just like it's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, different institutions over there in America, or just colleges. They have kind of a prestige to them, don't they?
yeah,
So
yeah.
You can't. It all comes out, and like,
Oh,
I'm
well-
not going to that college.
Well, this Stanford prison experiment, the guy Philip Zimbardo,
Yeah.
the guy who ran it, he was like, he seems a bit dodgy anyway.
Yeah, he's a lunatic.
Yeah, he seems like the type of person who's like, I don't know what, I mean, like, he seems like the person who'd do these experiments.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like an artist, isn't he? He's almost like a cult leader.
Yeah, like a cult. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
comes across like a cult leader. Yeah,
And it's always on all these experiments. There's one figurehead who's leading the whole thing.
yeah. Do they all have egos?
Yeah.
Have you got to have an ego to be doing all these
Of
experiments?
course you do.
Yeah.
You're not gonna catch us doing it, are you? I just don't have it in me to be like,
Yeah, this could be an experiment itself.
yeah, it's too much empathy.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. I couldn't even imagine.
Could you
putting
not?
someone- especially this one,
Yeah.
signing people up like that.
All right. Well, we could ask some questions over this after
Yeah, yeah.
where we'd stand.
Test our morality.
Yeah. Again.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Finding more about myself because of this podcast every single day.
Okay. So the Stanford prison experiment was done 1971. It was initially a 2-week study.
Great time, by the way. Love disco, by the way. So I'm just
70s.
putting it.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Good music.
Great time.
Yeah. Some good films.
Still
Still
a lot of racism, but we'll move on.
So this experiment lasted 2 weeks. Well, it was supposed to last 2 weeks. It was terminated after 6 days.
Oh my word.
So it just spiraled.
Yeah.
Just went downhill
Yeah.
almost immediately.
Okay.
So like this experiment, the whole thing about it was like about like power dynamics and obedience and how people like how they act in like what role they have. And it was basically saying like if you're like a good person, does the role that you get put into, does that affect you, or do you triumph and like almost go against the role? You know, for example, a prison guard.
Yeah. So depending on does it question your morality to the point of you'll go against the role,
Yeah.
or do you just step in line and
Yeah, and just
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. So it's kind of like are you a sheep?
yeah,
Yeah.
and like how obedient you are to like going
Yeah.
along with stuff.
This sounds great.
yeah. Well, what was obviously I don't know whether this is 100%, but wasn't it something to do with the Holocaust? Wasn't he looking into? I'm sure I heard stuff about that
Yeah.
or read stuff about that.
Well, that's probably one thing as well. Like think about how obedient people were.
Yeah.
During that, well, that's what a lot of people said, is that a lot of the young people just kind of went along with it, and you would do, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? I mean,
Yeah.
the big generals are the crazy ones, especially the ones that are back then doing the experiments. We'll
yeah.
probably get into that in the future.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And you got to look at those like the Nazi fucking generals and all that. They're being told to do this stuff. No, they know exactly what's going on.
They're pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Well,
But what are they? Are they like nice people? Were they nice people before they were put in that role? So I'm sure that's like his reasoning behind this
yeah,
whole
yeah.
experiment
He's looking.
is to find out more about how this whole thing happened.
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I read a book on it was like an SS general,
Yeah.
like from his viewpoint. You know, you never hear it, like that viewpoint of the war, don't you? It's always like from ours.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
his, and he basically said throughout the whole book, like he knew it was bad what he was doing. He was on like the French front at the beginning, and then went to like Russia doing the war there. But he said like throughout the whole of it, he knew it was bad, but everything happened so quick that he couldn't like do anything. He couldn't like gather his thoughts properly.
Yeah.
He was like one day he's like fighting there, and then he's like trying to catch up on sleep, and then next day he's getting deployed there, and he's got to like, like try and not die, and then he's got to organise this and then do that. And it's like non-stop for like how many years it was.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I think none of us will be able to kind of put ourselves in that situation in our own heads, right?
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like even like your own survival comes into it at that stage, doesn't it? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
constant. It's every day.
You haven't got time to think about like what's going on other than like you're gonna get shot if you go that way or you go that way.
It's not a 9 to 5, is it? Not like
No.
a prison guard.
Yeah, it's
He
not.
doesn't clock off. He doesn't have weekends at home with his family.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Well,
Yeah.
so
I don't think they did anything wrong, those Nazis.
they're all just following
Yeah,
following
following
orders.
orders.
Misunderstood.
That one guy, who was it?
Yeah.
No, he's pretty bad, but the other's not too bad.
Yeah, well, okay. So this guy Philip Zimbardo, I thought it was a cool name as well. Zimbardo.
Zimbardo.
Zimbardo. He was he seems to be a bit of a cult leader. He's got a bit of like an essence to him of like an ego. Especially, did you see about like his role in the experiment as well? I'll come to that. His role was quite funny, I found. So basically, he put out an ad for 24 students. Oh, I don't think it was a number of students to pay him. Was it $15 a day?
Yeah.
For this experiment, and they
And
look.
that works out like that works out like $100 a day in today's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're getting paid a decent wedge.
Yeah.
Might do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be game for it.
Well,
Oh,
that's exactly what
absolutely.
you'd be
Yeah.
looking at. You'd be reading it and going, fucking too right, £100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2
Student-
weeks.
If student as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, so they got 24 students, and then split them half into prisoners, half into guards, and then it was set up in like the what is it called? Like underneath the university, like in the basement of the university, they set up like a prison. And they tried to make it like super realistic, like like the layout of it and everything.
Oh.
And they even got the students who were involved, like the prisoners, they even got them arrested by actual police in public and took them to the police station and got through like like a proper process
Yeah,
of
of
like
course.
getting like your fingerprint stamped and everything, and then they transferred them to the university. I think so they're doing it like hyper realistic, playing the game good.
Yeah. So they all know it's an experiment, don't they? They know what they're getting into, but then it's written out in a strange way, like what you can't leave the experiment unless there's an emergency or certain stuff like this. And
Yeah.
it all turned out to be a bit. He wasn't as specific as he probably should have been.
Yeah, but that's part of it though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he was looking at.
So all the prisoners got numbered as well. So they got the names taken away, and you could only address them by numbers.
Is this Squid Game?
Yeah. Mental, isn't it? Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, Squid Game's one big experiment. One big American experiment.
Yeah.
So so when they got there, the prisoners got numbers, and the guards, they had no rules at all. They had to make their own rules on how to
Jesus.
run the prison. But the only 2 rules they had to follow was they weren't allowed to hit the prisoners,
Okay, that's good. Good start.
Yeah.
and they couldn't put prisoners in solitary confinement for more than 1 hour.
Okay.
And both of those rules were broke many times.
Oh, Jesus.
But oh yeah, so the funny part as well that I thought was funny. So it's all set up good, isn't it? You got your prisoners, guards, good place,
Yeah.
keeping it realistic.
Yeah.
And then that Philip Zimbardo, he appointed himself as the superintendent of the prison.
Oh.
So he gave himself a role
In his own experiment.
in his own experiment.
Superintendent Zimbardo.
So he's like the head of it all.
Yeah.
He's gave him.
This man's amazing. I'm in love.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty cool move that as well in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the right role, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a TV show at the end where you get a big surprise and he walks through the door.
Yeah.
It was me all along.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah. Well, all the guards had like there was a warden as well, wasn't there? One of the guards was a warden.
Yeah.
Like the head of the guards and everything.
They had,
like
it was
that.
all like laid out properly.
Yeah, and it was like weren't like the prisoners had to wear like they weren't allowed underwear,
What?
so they were in like these like
Weird, like, robe
basically
things.
hospital gown
Yeah.
things,
Oh my word.
really made to like proper.
Yeah.
What is it? What would you say?
Realistic.
Yeah, and just
Degrading.
degrade them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was looking for.
But normal prisoners get to wear underwear.
Well,
Yeah.
they're going the extra step.
Yeah, this is the Holocaust shit, isn't it? That's what.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly,
Well,
allegedly.
there was other researchers, like not just that Philip Zimbardo, like other people running the experiment,
Oh, I get what you're saying.
and they all got given roles as well. So they were like on the parole board. so the prisoners every day had to go to the parole board and like give a reason why they should be let out. And you're like in prison,
Yeah.
and like the people running that were like the researchers, and then some researchers were like working with the guards. So like everybody involved was like kind of involved.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Is this like a fake reality TV show? Like are
Yeah.
they just making up stories and they're going along with it?
Yeah. Well, it was all. Isn't it all? There's all tapes of it as well.
Oh yeah, there's footage and tapes of the whole
No
thing.
way.
Yeah, you can.
But he admitted that he'd only filmed because filming was so expensive because he got a full team and didn't need to do the filming.
Yeah,
He said only when something really crazy went on would they film.
with the
Oh,
film.
But there's
okay.
so much
Yeah.
footage.
But did the people involved? They didn't know it was getting filmed. Did they?
I don't
Was it
know.
all secretly filmed?
No, because they were filmed. They had their own interviews and stuff, didn't they? Because
Yeah.
there's I heard a couple of like the tapes of like certain people's interviews,
Yeah,
like towards the end of it when it all went a bit crazy.
yeah,
And there was one guy and he was like stressing out and like saying like I'm going dark, all this
oh
stuff.
yeah.
And then it turns. Did you see that? Like it turned out he was. Well, he came out years later and said that.
It was all improvising it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well done, Bo.
Well,
Great
there's-
actor.
Yeah, well, there's some stories about that. That's like I'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So so the experiment's set up, and immediately on like day one, the prisoners are getting hit by the guards. So the guards are already like you can already I don't know, you're getting results there, aren't you? In terms of like your role.
Where's Superintendent Zimbardo here? Like, is he keeping the rules up then?
He's
The
just
only
watching
two?
it.
He's watching it, just enjoying.
Jesus.
Because that's the experiment, isn't it? If I lay out these rules and they choose to break them,
Yeah.
that's part of the experiment. That's a
Good point.
result in his eyes.
Yeah, and he's seeing like how the prisoners act to the rules, but also how like the guards like abuse their power and act, with the
Okay.
rules.
So just because I'm just trying to wrap my head.
Yeah,
So they put them in this fake prison. They split them into. These are just normal students.
Mm.
They split them into teams. Basically, you're
Yeah.
on this side. You're the prisoners.
Yeah.
And you're the guards. And they've gone right. Begin.
yeah,
These are only two rules. And the guards, basically students,
Yeah.
have gone right. We're hitting you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've gone. Fuck it. We're really going for it.
yeah. They start because the thing is like the role they've been given, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
the role of being a guard, like the experiment, seeing like how they do in that role, and they've already like abused that power.
Oh my word! That's
They're all
crazy.
and like they started like like punishing the prisoners, and like these prisoners, like what the fuck do you do in that situation?
yeah.
Like there's not much you can do, isn't there?
No.
Imagine if you
'Cause
was
they-
unluckily put on that team. Sorry, but like,
Yeah.
imagine if you was like, oh fuck's sake,
I've
Yeah.
got to be a
I could
prisoner.
have been a guard.
Like a flip of a coin.
Yeah, I could have abused people.
Yeah, but so the prisoners had to wear like bags over their heads as well.
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
they?
Like the guards made them put bags over their heads.
But it was only supposed to be to go to the toilet because the toilet was outside of like the prison, the fake prison. And the guards just started making them wear the bags on their heads all the time
yeah, just like abusing
for
the power.
anything.
And then there was one point where the guards stopped and go on the toilet and said, "You all have to use a bucket," and we're not even emptying the bucket.
They had to clean the bucket themselves.
No way.
Well, did the guards have weapons? Like
I think they had
a
bats.
baton.
Yeah, they had bats. Yeah, They're just hitting them. So there was loads of stuff. There was, I think, on the second day. So they've had a full day and it's already spiraled. Like people are already abusing the power. On the second day, the prisoners tried to rebel, and they got the beds taken away. So the guards, like their repercussions they've decided is
Oh
like we're
my
taking
word.
your
Yeah.
beds away.
Because they like barricading
Yeah,
the
yeah.
doors in and stuff, weren't they? Yeah.
And the guards came in. They used the fire extinguishers as well. The guards and sprayed all the prisoners in this like
This
rebellion
is crazy.
on the second day as well.
And there's like footage of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, I feel like Carl Pilkington now, just getting told everything. I'm just like bewildered by it all.
That you don't believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't believe
believe
it.
Yeah.
Because this is something out of a TV show. This is kind of like
Yeah.
Squid Game. It's like, well, we'll put you in this situation. Let's see how you do.
Yeah, it's very bizarre, isn't it?
Mental.
Yeah, I remember watching it like as I said when I was like did a little bit of reading about it, and I was like, well, I watched the full thing about this. I don't know whether it was I was watching like people were trying like trialing it again or whatever, but or having a look at the effects. I can't remember where I watched it, but it was insane. And the image I've got in my head, it doesn't look like a prison. He's not built a prison, has he?
No.
It's like rooms like this.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
And like, I don't know. I think, like, see, if you were in that situation, say if you were a guard, yeah, like, how are you acting? What levels? What are you doing? You've been told you got to keep these prisoners.
Do you know what's so ridiculous? That you'd like to think like you're looking at the other people like fully taking the piss and starting hitting prisoners and stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to realize we're all students. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like,
That is crazy.
what's the end game of that?
Yeah.
If you think about it.
I think it's funny because imagine if they were students but they were mates and they just got split into different teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start pummeling each
Is that
other.
a possibility? Is there anything in relation to that?
There might have been. I don't know. I didn't come across anything, but that would be interesting if like some of them
Yeah.
knew each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he would have had loads of applicants, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And he was meant to have picked like a very like broad, like quite spread out. So he got someone from because they were all, like girls and stuff like that, different races and that. Well, he said there were different races, but there was one, like a Asian American guy,
Yeah.
and that was it.
And how
was-
did they choose what side you were going to be on?
I think they flipped a coin.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
I think they actually flipped a coin for it.
I know that when like they were all interviewed, weren't they?
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
wrote like you can get access to like their like descriptions of like their character and stuff as well. From I think they released all that as well.
Yeah.
But that's mental.
I find it quite fascinating, to be honest.
It would be really interesting, wouldn't it? As bonkers as it is,
Yeah, definitely.
that's the kind of experiment you want to do. That's a proper social experiment.
Yeah.
Obviously, it got a bit out of hand, but
See, the interesting with this one as well is these all know,
yeah,
and to a degree they've consented to it.
fully
Yeah.
consented. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like these don't know what's going on, or they don't know like what it's supposed to be about, or hidden stuff. These all know like what the experiment is.
Yeah.
They've got the roles.
Yeah,
They're-
Zambardo's just chilling, isn't he? Just like
Yeah.
saying, okay, listen, I'm going to put you in here.
Let's see how
I mean,
it
obviously
goes.
there might be more, but at this point, I don't see him as that as bad. Like, he's just gone, listen, I know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Let's see
Yeah.
it pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a result, to be fair.
He has. Yeah.
So where would you go if you were a guard? What level would you take it up to? Would you be hitting people?
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't, because I'd
Yeah.
realise it's real life.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, I realised that this is going to end.
Yeah.
And we're
yeah.
going to all have to go back to being students
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. But, so...
What about
no.
punishing the prisoners?
You've got to think like as well. So the guards are hitting like from day one. They're breaking rules. They're being serious abusers. So the prisoners are up in their thing. So
Yeah.
they're probably kicking off as well. So
Yeah.
the guards
yeah.
have got to keep that level.
Yeah, keep that power up
Yeah.
high.
Because as soon as they drop, like it's almost like they've lost respect.
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
And they're like, oh, like the prisoners are just take the I guess, and they're imagining the prisoners are gonna take the piss out of us
Yeah,
if we drop in anyway,
Mhm.
which is a hard thing. Whereas if you start and you're like taking it very seriously, sticking to the rules, speaking to the and everything, you're just like, it's 2 weeks, let's just get this over and done with.
That is crazy.
But then that's not the experiment, is it? You can't be a guard and go to the prisoners and go, come on, let's just. I know it's awful sat in that cell, but it's 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
$100 a day.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's like $15 a day.
True, forgot about that point. You are getting cash.
Yeah, you're getting
Yeah.
paid for it.
But they only got paid at the end. That's that they were told they'd only be paid at the end.
Ah, right,
so they
yeah.
had to get through the whole thing.
They had to finish it.
That's
Mm.
amazing. That is
Yeah.
actually quite interesting
Yeah.
story, and it's just to put yourself into those shoes, because it is that type of situation as well.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't like. There would be two sides to me. It was like I'd stay back if I was a guard,
Yeah.
just bare chilling, looking around, just
Yeah,
letting
yeah.
everyone do their thing, or I'd try and be the voice of morality and be like, everybody stop, and probably get stabbed by my own mates.
Yeah.
Get
You know what I
jumped on by
mean?
the other
Get
guards.
jumped. Yeah,
That's-
trying to be nice.
Yeah, if you're sat back and watching the guards like beating on these prisoners, you can't like you have to go over, don't you, and be like, but then
Is that what you are saying? Yeah.
You have to. Well,
I'm not
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you?
yeah,
No, I think I agree with you. Yeah.
because you can't be obviously they've got issues, the guards in the first place. Well, is this the thing about? Are you going to talk about that guard, that one
Yeah.
one guy?
Yeah. I've
Because
got it.
he's like the
Well,
instigator, isn't he?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so we've talked about all that, like the abusing of power. I'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
On the third day, so there's 2 days, it's descended into madness already. The people have been given power, and they've abused it almost instantly.
Oh, wow.
On the third day, after like fully being harassed by the guards, prisoner 8612,
Mm-hmm.
that was his name,
8612.
he fully broke down and started crying and screaming hysterically. And he said like he's going to harm himself and stuff like that. And he said, I'm going to get a lawyer to soothe like what's going on. So like Zimbardo and everybody came in and said like, fuck this, get him out of here, and sent him away.
You signed up for it, mate. Grow up.
Yeah.
Sort yourself out. But they got rid of him, and that was like the third day of it. The guy already completely broke down.
See, that's an experiment in itself. It's like, okay, it took 3 days to break down this fella
Yeah.
and want to get out. And it seems like, who would you... Okay, that's another question, I guess.
Go on.
Would you be, if you was a prisoner,
Yeah.
how would you be strong and like, would you be like, or would you fight back? Would you stay in the back? What do you guys do?
Yeah, it's hard in that situation because you've got to think, if I was a prisoner in jail, I'm not taking the piss out of the prison guards.
Yeah.
I'm following it their every rule. But then you're in that experiment. You know that they are exactly the same as you.
Yeah.
They haven't had any training into this thing.
Yeah.
So you'd feel like
You couldn't you?
you'd feel like what? Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd want to shout back because they
Yeah.
don't have any real authority over you.
Yeah.
do you?
Ooh,
If they're
yeah.
hitting us, just
Yeah.
fucking hit
You haven't
them
done
back.
anything wrong to be in that
Are you,
position.
yeah,
either.
exactly.
That's
You haven't,
it, yeah.
you haven't actually been arrested.
Yeah. I think if I was on the prisoner's side, I'd definitely go into chaos mode.
Yeah, like a full revolt, proper
Yeah.
riot,
I'd have a good fight, a
breakout.
good brawl.
Imagine if you broke out, that'd be unreal. Like,
Yeah, imagine
Yeah.
that,
full Shawshank.
Out of this fake prison.
Yeah, you've dug out of the university basement. You're on the run.
Yeah.
Zimbardo's chasing you down.
Cutting a tunnel with a spoon.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be another story in itself,
Yeah,
right?
that's what because there'd be an element, like, obviously it's a horrific situation to be in, but like if you was to just like proper like go for it and be like, yeah, I'm gonna have a bit of fun here as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna break out.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna play a character.
Yeah. Go into your own character.
You would
or
play a
go,
character.
yeah, or you go into a character like you're a proper murderer.
Yeah,
like you go
yeah.
in like a fucking, he's
I'm crazy. I see red all the time.
who's Anthony Hopkins with the
Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
That's the
that's
one.
so
Yeah.
good. Just start talking really
Yeah.
slow. Just like,
Freak everybody out.
Hello, friend. Just like that. Stay away from that guy. They're like, Johnny, we knew you before this. You don't speak like that.
I think that should that would be the best.
You just have a bit of fun, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I pretend to be the Punisher. Like, do a skull on my chest.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah, that would be funny, that.
Oh, mate, that actually sounds really good. Do you know what? I'd sign up for this.
And go in as a character.
I would,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd
do you
go
know
in
what?
as a
That
character,
sounds
yeah.
so good. Because in life's fucking boring, man, innit? Life's so boring, and just to play a character and have a bit of a laugh.
For 2 weeks. You're freaking everyone around you out. Everyone starts panicking.
Yeah.
So like sat naked, covered in your own shit.
Yeah, you're going in as Charles Bronson.
Lubing yourself up.
Oh,
That's
mate.
the way to do it. That was the way to
Yeah,
approach that, isn't it?
that's how it should have gone, yeah, definitely.
that man who started crying with hysteria. He should just become Hannibal Lecter,
Yeah, I
mate.
should just start eating people. Chewing on somebody.
I'm a cannibal, don't come near me.
Start attacking the other prisoners. They'd get you'd be out in no time there. Just fully take it too far.
Well, okay, so on the third day, that's what happened with that guy. He went crazy, and he threatened to get a lawyer in, and he let himself go. And then you were saying, weren't you, years later, it came out. He said that he was improvising it, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
He said this, so we don't know whether it was true or not, but
I don't know where.
because it was pathetic, like ramblings, wasn't it? Of like,
Yeah, is he coming out saying that to make himself not feel embarrassed about
yeah,
caving in?
Basically shitting it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Or did he actually like?
because it was real hysteria, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, he just fully broke down
Probably.
after getting abused for 3 days.
yeah,
Mm.
But I suppose he could look at himself and say like, I was the weakest one there. I made it up. It wasn't
Yeah,
true.
yeah. And it's all been because like all the tapes would have come out and everyone had
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that.
Mm.
But yeah, well, he'd have thought from what he signed up for that there was no way out.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But it was literally that. There was a
And
way
if,
out.
if he was playing a character, I mean, we've just talked about it. You want to be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to be.
You don't want to be the guy that's kind of like, oh, I can't deal with this anymore.
yeah. You're not gonna play the baby, are you?
Unless you come out
You
the
don't want to
end.
be crying.
What's that film where like, is it The Usual Suspects?
Yeah, yeah.
Where he
Kaiser
pretends- Kaiser Soze.
Yeah.
Where he pretends to be like fucked from the beginning, and
Yeah.
at the end he's like, I'm the mastermind of it all. That's the character I'd play.
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah,
that's what he was
played
trying to
everything.
do.
You've even played Zimbardo in all
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. The ending of that where he's walking away with the limp,
Oh.
and then he just starts walking properly,
Yeah.
and he sees it, doesn't he? The
Yeah.
cop, and he
Yeah.
realizes.
He's like, whoa.
Suppose we just spoiled that film.
That's what
for
I do,
everybody.
yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
spoilers after the fact. Yeah. Yeah, I'd make a limp. I'd just make a normal limp.
A
And
lot-
then go
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Or speech impediment.
It's
Let's do our characters right now. Sack this podcast off. Let's
yeah,
do
let's
a
see
character.
what characters would you have? I'd be that big ripped black guy from The Green Mile.
Oh,
John Coffey.
Yeah. I'd try and play it.
Oh man.
The D's.
I don't know. Maybe what Charles Manson? He'd be a funny one to play.
Yeah.
Oh, let's start a little cult in there yourself.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that. Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, infiltrating the guards. That's what could you offer the guards?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Would you get in with the guards?
I've got $15 a week. I don't need that money. You can have all this. Let's just work together.
Let's work together and have a good
Yeah,
time.
$30 a week.
Let's pull something off. Yeah.
Would be so cool. Let's get this done. Let's do
Yeah,
our
yeah.
own experiment.
Start it up again.
Let's
Yeah.
start it up again. Let's make an English
Yeah.
version. We'll get funding.
Yeah, there'll be some people interested in that, definitely.
Yeah.
100%. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that's going on.
Oh, there must be all sorts. Well, what I was thinking as well, a little light side point, there must be loads of experiments that haven't come out.
Yeah.
You know, that we don't even know about, you can't even, that aren't available to know, that are
Of
probably
course.
so fucked up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, speaking of characters, one of the guards assumed the character of John Wayne and called himself John Wayne, and he even put a southern accent on.
Oh my word! I love this guy.
And he was supposed to be like the ringleader of the guards who was like causing the shit.
Okay.
And, like, you know, doing all the
Yeah.
abusive stuff. But that's like, it's interesting to see like how he's had free reign to do what he wants, and that's what he's done. Like, he's gone down that route. He's
Yeah.
put a character on, and he started abusing people.
Can you imagine him coming in the staff room in the morning, puffed out chest, speaking in that southern accent?
He's got a cowboy hat on.
Yeah. And everyone's like, "Oh, fuck off, Barry.
Yeah.
We know you're just taking the piss now."
Sheriff's back in town.
And you're like, "Oh, oh, Barry, please let off."
Thing is though, like he was the one causing the shit though as well. Like
Yeah.
he was the
Did-
ringleader.
No one knew that he was doing that character, did they? Like the other guards, did they?
Did they not
I
know?
don't know. I thought that all came out afterwards.
Ah, right, yeah.
That's so good.
So they just thought he was like one of the things. You ever seen Cool Hand Luke?
No.
The film, that's with the guard in that. They say like he based himself off that guard as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, I think the documentary I watched on it, I think they put it that way, where
Yeah.
where you weren't introduced as him straight away. You were introduced as him as the character, and then after it, it was like, oh,
I
Bob's
see.
never lived in the south of America before.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's interesting. That
Yeah.
so literally, he's put a character on straight up, hasn't he?
That's so good.
Yeah, but that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Even if you were a guard, you go in and be like, yeah, I'm the fucking sheriff of this fucking town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll become a pastor like guard.
Yeah,
Like sacrificing people
yeah.
as a pastor.
Like doing the cross.
Yeah, yeah,
Every
yeah.
time you kick doors down. Kick the door down.
So what we've got here is, yous yourselves wouldn't descend into chaos, but yous are willing to put on a character,
I'd like to.
and
think
then you'd go into chaos.
yeah. And then as soon as he finishes, is it what's his name? Zimbardo
Zimbardo.
rings the bell, and you just walk out normally.
Yeah, yeah. That was terrible. That.
Yeah.
Oh God,
when should I pick up my money? Is it on the way out?
God, our morality really came into question there, Cal.
Yeah.
Maybe we aren't as good as we thought we were.
Scrap last episode.
Yeah.
This is the truth.
This is the truth.
This is the true us.
So there was some John Wayne guy coming in, and so this experiment kind of did prove results. It shown like that people were willing to abuse the power. People were they had the chance to hit somebody and not get done with it.
No
Reprimanded.
repercussions.
And they hit somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Even on the first day, the guard hit the prisoner. So that's like shows some type of mentality in the human psyche. So as this was going on the sixth day, and it's like spiraled into full chaos, the guards are like doing like degrading stuff to the prisoners, like all sorts of bad shit. They make them do like all sorts of like exercises and act out all like proper bad stuff.
Is there any sexual stuff?
Yeah. The guards are making the prisoners like act out certain sexual stuff.
There's no way.
Yeah. And the best thing was this Zimbardo was watching it all, and he said like he got into the role of the superintendent that much. He didn't even see himself as like the researcher.
He wasn't even looking for any answers anymore. He was just like supervising over it.
On the sixth day, he was just like, I am the superintendent of this prison. And the funniest thing is, so at this point, like, it should have been stopped.
Yeah.
It should have been stopped earlier on. His girlfriend came in. I think she worked in the university. She came in on the sixth day to see what's going on.
Zambardo's bird come in.
And she's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Okay, there's something going on with these podcasts, and like, who was that guy in the Christopher Columbus one who came in?
Yeah,
He had a weird name.
Yeah, that
Who was
weird.
it? Francis Borgia or something. Like, what's his name?
Oh, what was it? Bombadillo or something like that.
Bombadillo.
Yeah,
He
Bobadilla
ca- yeah.
or something. Yeah.
He came in. He was like, "What the fuck?"
What?
There's always someone
Yeah.
that comes in and go, "What's going on here?"
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some like innocent person who's not involved.
Yeah.
Who's like stumbling upon like the madness.
Yeah. You just get away with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And someone comes along and goes, "What are you doing?"
I love that.
Well, so she's come along. I think so. She's known there was like an experiment going on in the basement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she's probably coming on 6 days later just to check up,
Yeah.
see what her boyfriend's doing, see where they're getting along.
Hey,
He hasn't been home for
Zambardo.
6 days.
Yeah.
I bought you your tea, honey.
And it's just like she's seeing all chaos, everything, and she's like, "Fucking hell, this is gone downhill." And he didn't believe her, and like he was like, "No, this is
good stuff.
yeah, this is good stuff." And he's like, "We shouldn't stop this." And she was saying like he's seeing himself as the superintendent, and he's not looking at the morals and anything of it. And they had like a massive argument, and eventually she managed to persuade him to call it off after 6 days.
Oh man,
So like the voice of reason had to be like this outside person.
party pooper.
Oh, she's had a giant argument with him. You
Yeah.
can't fucking cut this out right
Yeah.
now.
Can I speak to you in a separate room, please?
Yeah, everybody's looking around.
I was looking around. Yeah.
So there was like the other researchers involved, who I presume were like working with the university, working with him. Even them like didn't think to stop it or question it. It had to be like someone outside of the experiment who didn't really have a say or anything.
Yeah.
Like stumble in
Yeah. His bird.
his
man.
bird and see it all, see the shit going down. I was like, we need to stop this now. So imagine if she didn't stumble in. Imagine
They've gone on the full.
what would it been like
Yeah.
in 2 weeks?
I think it'll have gone on the full.
Do you think somebody could have died.
Yeah.
That would have been great. I'd loved it. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it going. If I was that John Wayne character, I'd have been fuming. I'd been like, I'm just got into it.
Yeah, you're just warming up.
These lot are doing doggy style. I've just made them do it. These lot are pissing in a bucket. I'm just getting into it.
Yeah. I remember watching that, like the getting them doing the exercises and stuff, like push-ups
Yeah.
and doing star jumps and stuff.
Yeah,
all
they'd
that
make
stuff.
him do. Was it like certain exercises until they couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then when they couldn't do it anymore, they just start abusing them, make them like keep doing it and stuff like that.
That's actually depressing. That's nothing to make fun of. That's
Yeah, these are students who've just like signed up for this.
Both started at the same. So they walk into the experiment at the same level, and then they get they get split up half and half, and then you look at the changes in the authority.
Yeah,
how it affects them.
So that is I feel like this experiment kind of does have the results. Even though it's completely unethical.
Yeah, but when they say that, and this must have been where I got the Holocaust thing from, and he's saying that I wanted to look kind of into that and how that happened and what the effects on the people were. They were going, you could have just got any of the data, any of the research that you got, any of these results, you could have just got that from reading a book on the Holocaust.
Yeah, you didn't need to do. You didn't need to go to them levels.
You didn't need to redo the Holocaust.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying there. Like the stuff that they got from this, even though it was like stuff.
Yeah.
You could have got.
It's a very interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
You could have.
Well, one of the questions I was thinking is like, where do you draw the line in doing like a simulation on like, I don't know, like abusing power?
And yeah,
you know, something that gives distress to people.
It depends on what results you want. I mean, if you want to see how far people go, then you just have to leave it. Unfortunately, I think that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But if you want to see kind of the bare minimum, like the first day they started hitting, okay, result over.
Yeah,
that's it, yeah.
We got some type of result.
Yeah, these people can't go a day without breaking.
Yeah, that's
the rules
it. Yeah.
Of authority. Well, the first guy to drop out. What was that? Day 2, day 3.
Day 3, yeah.
Yeah,
and
it takes 3 days for people to crack.
Yeah,
to crack. Yeah, and as bad as it sounds, it would have been interesting to see if one of the guards, for example, after a few days would have been like, maybe there was a death, and they went, "No, I've had enough now."
Yeah.
I don't want to see this.
Yeah, see if if the guards take it on.
Do you know what would have been really, really interesting? So they do it for a week, the first week with those guards, and they get to that point where the guards are making them do stupid sex positions and exercises and just beating the shit out of them, shitting in buckets. So these prisoners are literally a shell of who they were when they walked in, and then they get rid of all those guards and they bring in 6 new guards.
Yeah,
and see how the prisoners react to those guards.
Oh,
so these new guards come in at the same level day 1. They don't know anything. They just know you're not allowed to hit. You're not allowed to. And so they go in and they've got these prisoners who are
already broken,
like pretty malleable, aren't they? At that point, and I bet that second week is fucking smooth sailing.
It's all fine. Well, what about this then? I just thought of something else. What about you get to that first week and then you switch them around?
Well, then someone's dying, Steve.
Yeah, is it just absolutely hitting the boiling point?
Yeah,
that's interesting though, because I find
someone's dying.
Yeah, someone's dying, man, and at that point, it's like the John Wayne character. He's going, oh fuck.
Yeah, who is he now?
Oh yeah, if they don't know that they're gonna get switched out. Yeah. So he's gone full like abuser.
Yeah,
and then he's thinking, yeah, I just got to do this for 2 weeks, and then
what does he do now? He's like this John Wayne character, but he's got to be abused.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Prisoners, the guards, the newer guards, would kill him.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, well, they'd rarely go 10 times as hard.
Yeah,
because it'd be like the embarrassment, the degrading me.
Yeah,
that's
I think that would. Yeah,
you're gonna feel it worse.
So it's like the retaliating.
Yeah,
it's mental. It's funny because this has been done in fictional media for ages now. I mean, there's been multiple like battle royale type fictional stuff.
Yeah,
and putting just people in a fucking place and putting people in a room and being like, let's see what you do.
Yeah.
But it's always done in fictional media, and I feel like when you watch it, you're like, okay, maybe this would happen in real life. It'd be interesting, and it's just mental to hear this story and be like, okay, it actually was done. And people acted the way that it probably does. You would expect. Sorry.
Yeah. It does show. It's shown exactly what happens. It shows that people are capable of, aren't they?
Yeah, that's like quick. That is the true social experiment, that isn't it? Yeah. It's not like the syphilis one where that's like medicine and looking at the effects of a disease and illness a virus.
Yeah, this one's like going deep into the psyche.
This is like, let's see what happens when we put these people in a position of stress.
Yeah.
Is it wrong that I don't think Zimbardo did anything wrong?
Well, he gave them they talk
that's
about
like the grey area, isn't it?
they talk about when they were signing everyone up. He didn't tell them that they could leave. So, and then after it, when they were going, why didn't what the hell want it? He said, oh yeah, they could have if they said, if they'd have said, oh, I want this experiment to be over or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I'd have let them go.
Yeah, yeah.
But they weren't told. They're insistent, like the prisoners are insistent that they weren't told that. But yeah, he didn't really do anything wrong because he's laid it all out. They're being paid.
He's put the grey area as well, where it's like they've kind of made the rules.
They make their own. All of them are making decisions the whole time.
Yeah, he hasn't made them make the decisions, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's no timeline. Like, okay, on day 3, you guys are gonna break out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just let everybody do their own thing.
Well,
Really.
there was one. I saw one thing where he was found. He pulled one of the guards aside and said, "You need to be more aggressive" or something like that.
Oh, wow.
You need
Yeah.
to take it up a notch.
And they were going, "Well, that's not. Doesn't work like that."
I
He
get
said-
you.
I was listening to a podcast about it, and they were saying it's like doing experiments on how much pizza someone can eat, and then pulling one of the people aside and going, "Right, you need to eat more pizza."
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just-
you
it's
kind of
not-
you're like altering something that should
Yeah.
there should be no outside input to.
Absolutely.
something as
Yeah.
small as that. He's already the guy running the experiment.
Yeah.
He's put himself in the superintendent, so he's already kind of your boss
Yeah,
in the experiment as well.
yeah.
And he's there telling you to be more aggressive.
Mm.
You're gonna be more aggressive, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think another thing as well is like from the other side, like what he did wrong is like he could have pulled the plug on it immediately. You know when someone's getting punched in the face,
Yeah.
he could have stopped people like getting physically abused and like psychologically abused,
Yeah.
but he let that happen.
Yeah, he's probably a bit of crazed. Mental man, isn't he?
But then again, he say like he got lost in the role as well.
Definitely.
Watching
Well,
it,
that's
just
that
watching
innit?
it for a few days,
Yeah.
you probably are drawn into it, aren't you?
That in itself is like a research part of it. Like,
Yeah.
he did fall into
He
it.
said
so-
that as well, didn't he? And he said about because didn't he let them have visitors? So the families came.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the families came for on one day, and he said the families acted like they were visiting the kid in prison.
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
friend in prison.
They played along with it as well.
No way.
And they were
Yeah.
one of them like they voiced the distress to one of the warden, and he was saying, well, why didn't you stop it? When one of the family members said, this is crazy, why didn't you stop it? And he said, oh well, if they thought it was that crazy, they wouldn't have just told the warden.
Yeah, yeah.
That was his excuse.
Yeah, they would have done something proper about it.
Yeah. Or they would have come and seen me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anything.
Well, that's the
That's
Stanford prison experiment.
My G Zimbardo.
mental.
Yeah. Madman.
Get him back. Let's do a volume 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be Hannibal Lecter. I've already chose my one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the monster study,
Yeah.
the next experiment we'll cover.
So we've just had our mind filled with the Stanford experiments and what Tuskegee.
Tuskegee one. Some very unethical stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't think the Stanford experiment it's unethical, but it's not like
Do you know what it's kind of
it's a weird one, isn't it?
If you said to me, I need you to set up I need you to set up a human experiment
Yeah.
tomorrow. That's the kind of thing I think I'd end up doing.
Yeah, something like that.
I'd be
That's
putting
true.
people in a position of stress and
Yeah.
seeing what they were doing. I wouldn't be pretending to give syphilis sufferers treatment
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
watching them die.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, it's only it's crazy because the only thing that's unethical is what the students were doing to themselves in the Stanford one.
Yeah, it was on their own.
Yeah, we wouldn't be
On
talking
the
about
court.
this if it went nice and if there was obviously if we wouldn't be talking about it if the guards were guards
Yeah.
went this is what guards should do and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
prisoners just did what the guards said
That's
for
it,
2
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be talking about it.
100%. Well, this one, the monster study is it doesn't descend into chaos, but it's still a bit unethical. So this guy, Wendell Johnson.
Oh great.
Sounds like a weird name, that isn't it?
Wendell, good start.
Wendell. Yeah, you're only going to be running weird experiments when you're called Wendell, aren't you? So like this guy, he was like some scientist, so it was a psychologist or something like that. He was like stuttering, and he wanted to find like the reason for it. And like in the 1930s, so it was like 1930s when it was it the late 30s?
I thought it was like 1931 or something.
Or 1931. At the time, like stuttering was thought to be like genetic and like not affected from like outside. It was like, you know, genetically. I don't know how you put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though.
Like it was a mental thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But there was loads of stuff about that already in like the early that kind of time. Like left-handedness, where you're like,
Yeah.
it's like awful if you were left-handed.
Devil's work.
Yeah.
Well, so he thought that it's not. It's like something causes stuttering, like growing up or something like that, and he wanted to prove it. So he got funding and everything, the usual stuff for his experiment. He got 22 orphans and split them into two groups. Basically, the experiment was one group was told like positive affirmation through speech therapy, whereas the other group was negative. They were like told off basically, and they'd go through like speech therapy.
I think this is where where I saw there was two groups in each.
Yeah.
In each group, I think half of them didn't have a.
Didn't have a stutter.
Yeah, and the other half did.
Yeah.
So each group split into two groups
within those groups.
Yeah. So
Two.
basically, it was they had 10 children out of the 22 were identified as stutterers.
Yeah.
And 5 of them were put into Group A.
Yeah.
And 5 of them were put into Group B. So both of the groups have stutterers in.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
This is what complicated this is where I kind of lost it.
So both of the groups have stutterers in. Okay, so Group A went through like the positive speech, and it was like they were labelled as like normal speakers. You know, like the teacher told them you were normal speakers. Even the ones who had stutters, they were told, "Oh, you're like a normal speaker. You can speak fine." There was nothing wrong. You like. They were like...
they didn't address the stutter.
Yeah, and they were told you're going to outgrow whatever problems you have, and it's all fine. We'll keep going through this speech therapy in Group A, and it was like really positive and happy. And then Group B was the complete opposite. It was like, you've got a problem, you're getting told off for it, you're getting like shouted at.
You need to stop this, you need to work on... You need to work on this. You need to, every time you speak, you need to be making sure that you are not stuttering.
Yeah, it was like really intense.
Even the kids who don't stutter.
Yeah, so even the kids who don't stutter was told that they have a speech problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And like it was really intense. It wasn't just like getting told off, it was like fully demoralising them, breaking them down. And these were only kids. They were from like, I don't know the youngest, but it was like early teens and like 10-year-olds, like that level. So the even after 2 sessions, Group B, the negative group, most of the children, their speech drastically decreased. Like some of them like didn't even want to speak. Even the ones who didn't have speech problems, like they didn't want to speak. You know, when like told to or anything. That was after 2 sessions. And the eventually the 6 non-normal, like the 6 normal, like who had no speech things in the negative group, they started stuttering afterwards. So basically, he proved that stuttering can like be caused by an outside thing, not genetically.
Yeah.
So it proved his theories, but in Group A, like they were fine, and even like the people who had the stutters, he said like some of them were still stuttering afterwards, but it was loads better and manageable. So we basically proved as well that like stuttering can be cured. It's not really a big problem.
Well done, Wendell.
Yeah.
It's just all on like confidence and stuff like that.
That's it, yeah. But the only problem is the children afterwards from Group B were completely like psychologically fucked from it.
Oh no.
And like the speech problems for the rest of their life was like really poor.
Yeah.
And they had really terrible stuttering, and it like basically I think some of them had like learning disabilities from it, going through all the sessions of like getting
Really?
completely like, demoralised. So that's where the unethical.
I saw that about a story about one of the lads who was there. Who was like really, really bright, did really well, did like unbelievable at sports, captained like his basketball team and his baseball teams and all that. In college, went to college, studied English,
Yeah.
became like a professor of English and all that. But he was like a mute,
What?
like he wouldn't speak.
What?
Because he
Because
was in
of
that,
that,
he was that,
yeah.
that group.
That's mental. That. So that's like. So people have like been like affected seriously for the whole of their life from that, haven't they? From like an experiment they participated in as a kid.
Yeah,
Mm.
Like imagine like some of them what their lives could have been like if they, I don't know, didn't suffer, didn't have like, because they all like a lot of them said like they had psychological effects,
as you would from being like negged like that, aren't you?
absolutely abused like mentally through this. I don't know how many sessions it said, but it went on for a while,
Mm.
and like
And so did they volunteer to do this, the kids?
no,
They were just orphans,
yeah.
right?
yeah, they were all and they had no say.
They had no say in what they
No,
I think the orphanage was told it was just speech therapy.
yeah,
weren't they?
they weren't aware as well of like.
So Wendell didn't say.
No, these orphans were just thinking they're just going to speech therapy. They didn't know there was like two different groups. They didn't know the meaning behind it or anything.
Mm.
And he,
He's clearly not thinking about the long-term effects, is he?
no way.
Well, do you know what he's thinking? Because it's kind of a selfish thought, isn't it? If he was a stutterer himself,
yeah,
he's thinking, let's look at the positive effects.
yeah.
Or he's
yeah.
like, I need to prove to people that stuttering isn't just genetics.
He's
We
a
need
bit
to get-
bitter.
Yeah,
we need to get the results. Doesn't matter what happens. We
Yeah.
need to get the results.
I need to show that. Yeah, like you said, like you can get better.
But I think like he definitely got the results. He proved his theories, didn't he?
Mm.
But the only thing is that like so. Well, I guess the question is like, how do you go about doing that? How do you go about proving his theory when
You
it's
should
like,
you don't have to do the negative one
That's what I thought. You don't have to.
at all.
But how do you make someone start stuttering to prove that it?
But you don't have to prove it. Why should you have to prove the negative effect of?
Yeah, so you just prove that you can fix
Yeah.
stuttering.
Yeah, because you know, like it's obvious that if you're beating someone up about the stutter, like when they're a child, like in school or whatever, teachers, they're never gonna
Well, that's
get anywhere.
at the time they thought it was just genetics, though.
Yeah, so they were thinking there's nothing you can do anyway.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I mean. Yeah, you only had to do the good one.
I think it's pretty obvious, but in hindsight, we live in a time where we can look back. But back then, obviously, it was a different mindset.
Yeah,
Well, the people from the group where they were being like battered for it didn't they sue?
I think so.
They got
Yeah,
a
yeah.
payout of like over $1 million, I think, in like the early 2000s when they were like 70 odd years.
Yeah.
Well, like 70, 80, 90 years
See,
old.
that's awful as well because it's kind of not worth it. It's not justice, is it?
No.
You know. I mean, and
They've
also,
had to-
how did they choose the groups?
I think it was random.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that they went to an orphanage and there were like 10 children with stutters there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know that.
Maybe that's some effect on it. Maybe if they were
Mhm.
orphans.
Yeah, that could
Yeah,
be one
yeah.
thing, actually, yeah. That's an interesting point. I don't know that many people who stutter.
No.
I couldn't name like 10 stutterers.
I met like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your entire life, yeah, same. It's
Then again, though, like sometimes I know people who stutter who say they stutter, and I don't realise until they point it out themselves.
Chris is a stutterer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Stutterer.
And I completely forget until he points it out to me.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, taking kids and making them have like, because it's not about like just making them stutter. It's like giving them like learning disabilities and psychological abuse,
Yeah.
the psychological effects from it that affected them for their whole life to
Yeah.
the point where they got, how much did they get like a payout for?
I think all of them. So however many it was who got together,
Yeah,
however many were alive, because you're going like 70 years in the future.
yeah,
They got over $1 million altogether,
yeah.
like between them.
So there must have been like some bad effects, mustn't there?
Yeah.
And they've suffered from that for the whole life afterwards. Imagine what their life could have been like
Yeah.
if they didn't participate in
That's
it.
what I mean. I don't understand the need to find out that you can give someone a stutter.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really sad actually when you think about it. I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. You know, he got the result that he wanted, and then maybe the results that he got maybe helped people in the future.
Yeah, well, I suppose he could argue the ones he gave a stutter to, he could kind of like cure the stutter.
What, by giving them the
positive affirmation?
positive affirmation.
I wonder if he
Afterwards.
ever did that, because that'd be like your first thought, wouldn't it?
Yeah, help these out.
Yeah, when you've got these mute children
Yeah.
and now you've developed stutters,
Yeah.
why wouldn't your first thought be,
Let's help
right,
them now.
yeah, let's give these the positive praise and see how deep it actually
Yeah.
goes.
They're obviously fucked for the rest of their life, though, to get payout and suffer, and, you know, for this to even be a thing.
Yeah, it's awful. That I think it never happened. Like, you go to modern day, like, obviously that is so long ago.
Yeah. In the 30s.
You think a speech therapist right now,
Yeah.
stutters are like they're pinpointed straight away,
Mm.
and the kid's straight in speech therapy, and it works pretty well. I think that's probably
Yeah.
the majority of the reason why we don't know
Mm.
many people with stutters these days.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be the reason. You know, like speech therapy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, what else does that cover? Like, you can have a stutter, can't you?
Mm.
But, like, what other stuff can you... Is it, like, pronunciation or
I have no idea.
change your accent?
I'm not sure what it is. I know it's a pretty big job in schools, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do lisps or nothing like that, can you?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Is that like, that's, your tongue's too big, innit?
Well,
Your
it's
tongue's
too big
massive.
for your head.
Yeah, you probably can.
Well, I know boxers get it because they always... It's from biting down on the tongue, isn't it,
Yeah.
for so long? Well, so many times.
Mm.
It'll be like there'll be kids who just can't get the speech as well.
Yeah.
Just can't get it. I
Gotta
know
get
they
the words out, mate.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
I know they check with a lot of children, like kids who aren't talking. Like, I don't know whether there's an age you're supposed to start talking, but
Yeah.
that's another, like, stigmatized, isn't it? Really, but
What age
yeah.
do you start talking?
But they'll check if the kid's deaf first, and then
Yeah.
because that's a big thing, and then it'll be speech therapy and get the words out. But
I get it, yeah.
no,
I think, you know, the best thing for speech, and I'm not a speech therapist, so I can't officially say,
Yeah, hold out for this one,
Yeah.
listeners.
but I do think it's true, is like, if you read out loud,
yeah,
if you read a book, say if you read a book every night, obviously maybe not at night when people are trying to sleep, but you just read, but read out loud, because you're not like trying to read, you're not speaking to somebody, but you're still speaking,
Mm.
Yeah.
and you're reading, you're processing the words,
yeah,
and you're saying it
yeah.
out loud.
yeah,
I worked with someone earlier this year for a period of time. Let's say his name was Andrew,
Yeah.
mm.
and he had a speech impediment. Very, very brave person. Did a lot of kind of public-facing work, a lot of work with colleagues and stuff like that. And he had a stammer stutter, and it was amazing to watch him progress as time went on. Actually, and I saw him not too long ago, and it just got better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
it just got better.
So it got better through speaking like in public.
Well, yeah, just
with
public
people.
facing work, pushing
Yeah.
yourself to go out there and be a little bit braver, I guess. And I think that is especially brave if you go out and do that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's the confidence, isn't it? That's the big.
Is that where it lies?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
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 I think that's what's. Obviously, there's going to be some that's, but I don't know. I don't even know whether there's some that are genetics. Like, you must. How are you born with it?
Yeah. Well, is confidence, what confidence plays into your personality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To a degree. Is that genetic? Is your personality like genetically?
No, I would say it's more of your upbringing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
certain experiences. There's been multiple incidents in the past where people have developed that because of an incident.
An instant, yeah.
When they were younger, and it could be from abuse, it could be anything really.
Yeah.
You know, they could bang their head on something and all of a sudden they're like, oh gosh, stammer because
Yeah.
bang the
Yeah.
head.
Well,
Who
why did,
knows?
who was the king? The
Oh,
Queen's
yeah,
dad,
yeah.
wasn't it? He had one,
Yeah.
didn't
Oh, they made a
The
film.
film, yeah.
Yeah,
Speech.
yeah.
he? Yeah, Colin Firth.
Was it King George?
Yeah.
I think.
Still not watched it.
Yeah,
I don't-
I haven't seen it, but he had a And I guess that comes from because he used to really struggle with like public speeches, didn't he? And that's
Yeah.
like obviously a massive part of their role. But
Being a king.
yeah,
Mm.
I feel like if you just go for it, it's like with us. We haven't got stutters or stammers, anything like that. No speech impediments amongst us. that I
Oh,
know
I've
of.
got the giggles. I can get the
Oh.
giggles, and that can affect me.
Yeah, I know, but if you're going and you're just public speaking all the time,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing this is
Do you have one in different situations? Have you noticed that? Maybe some situations where you both don't feel as comfortable.
I've had like when I was doing presentations in uni for like in front of like a decent crowd, like your voice would quiver a little bit, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's coming to nerves.
Yeah.
But I remember like going back to lisp about lisps. I remember there was someone in uni who had a lisp, and that was his speech impediment.
Yeah.
I don't know whether, and he had no issue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose like with that, if you've got no problem, you just go with it, don't
it's
you?
about, yeah. I think it's about having no problem. That's like, again goes to confidence, doesn't
Yeah.
it? If you're gonna sit there and let it affect you and stop it, stop you from getting up and public speaking or
Yeah.
presenting anything like that.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Then
going to get worse.
it's gonna get worse.
Mm.
Yeah, because you're doing what they were doing to yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, like, I think, like, I feel like I could do public speaking, I think.
Mm.
Like, I feel like I could stand up in front of, like, 1,000 people and speak.
Yeah.
But I put that down to, like, playing music.
Yeah.
If I play,
Yeah.
like, been playing music in front of people, now I'm just, like, I'm not bothered about, you know, like, speaking or anything in public.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered anymore.
It like all those things help. Just constantly doing different things
That's it, yeah.
that
Yeah.
revolve around it, and it could
Yeah.
just be, as you said, being in a band and
You just get
Doing
used
that
to it.
kind of
Just, like,
stuff.
you don't even think about it.
Like a
No.
bit, you reckon you could do like, you know, like when the president of the USA does that speech in Washington in front of like, how many people?
I think I could do that.
100,000
Yeah,
people.
I think I could. Yeah.
you gotta. I think there's a lot that goes into stuff like that. I think the better you are with your words,
Yeah.
then you'll be able to come across a little bit more articulate than the like.
Yeah, if you're like a
There's-
wordsmith.
There's so many gap fillers that
Yeah.
so many things that I recognize with speech
Yeah.
that I try and fill out all the time. Not even just an for example. Like, you have so many things.
Oh, there's probably loads, isn't
So
there?
one of the things recently that I noticed that I kept doing, you know, when you reference something and you list off a bunch of things in relation to it. So like, if I was referencing school, I'd be like, so yeah, there were the teachers there, there were the kids there were people that helped me there were, I don't know, people on lunch breaks, but you don't need to reference that. People know what's there.
Yeah.
You're just trying to fill in a gap with more words
I get
Okay,
you.
yeah.
without
yeah.
sounding it. So that's one thing that I've been trying to do. If you listen to like Martin Luther King or Barack Obama and stuff like that, they say the words and that they get to the point.
I
you know
get
what I
you.
mean?
They don't linger on.
They don't linger on. They don't say too much. You got to say with speeches and with there's a lot of people. You got to say less with. You got to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
more with less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get you there. Yeah, I don't think I'd be. You said like, could I do that speech like the president? I don't think I'd do it good.
Yeah.
but I think I'd be like, all right, confident wise.
I'd love to go to like a public speaking, like a class, like a lesson. Like
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
teach me.
Oh mate,
Like maybe we should do that.
Do some. You know, wait, do you know?
Good.
I've got the. You know, Dale Carnegie, the writer who did
Yeah.
How to Win Friends and Influence
yeah,
People.
yeah.
I've got one of his books, and it's how to do public speaking. I've never done. I don't have intention to do public speaking.
Yeah.
But that's like goes into like basically what you said there and everything about like speech and how you do it and public speaking, how you lay it out and how you get into the mind frame of it all and everything. But he says there is groups
Yeah.
where you go and you just do speeches to each other.
I'd love to like just to have a little go at something like that.
Yeah.
Because you look at like the way Martin Luther King captivates an audience, and
Yeah,
that's like
he lets words linger. He lets space, and that's a lot of what not a lot of people can do.
yeah,
Is have space,
Oh,
and
like
that
the
comes
pauses.
the pauses that they mean a lot because they let the words linger in the visitors' heads.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
You got to, and that's the point. It's like
Yeah.
one thing that I've been able to develop over my time. Luckily, from going into schools, doing workshops, and also going to like just talking in front of tons of people.
Yeah.
or even doing the podcast. Like I was doing the podcast years ago, and I sent it to my father recently, and he said, "You have become so much more confident in the way you speak.
Yeah.
It's so much more of a better listen than when you was younger." So the development there from all those things that I've done, whether it been as a hobby or in work, have helped me develop my speech.
Yeah, it's all added up.
Yeah, but also it's different. We won't talk like this in the pub.
No. No, it's very, we're very connected right here, aren't we?
Yeah,
We
I
get
get you.
headphones on and it's right there. And I like the getting into a bit of a ramble and you're feeling the flow of what you're saying
Yeah.
and listening back on it. I know for a fact that if 15-year-old me listened to a podcast of me speaking, he'd be like, "What? How is he doing?" Because everything was,
Well, what was 15-year-old you like?
well, everything was, so it was fast.
Fast.
The pace was
Machine gun.
let's get it done, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like sitting here and we're talking about things that we want to speak about, but you can get comfortable in it and you can,
You're a very good speaker. So are you.
yeah.
Do you think both are very good speakers?
I think we are all. I think we've got a nice combination of really good speakers. The three of us. I think we can all carry a tale with our voices.
It's because a lot of it comes down, because I've worked a lot in customer service. What about you guys? Have you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, well, I gained a lot of from my first job in customer service, and I gained a lot of like confidence in speech and talking to people. That like drastically changed me. So that's like going like 17 or something.
And one of the things in relation to that, I was having a word with one of my bosses at work the other day in relation to customer service, and a lot of it has to come down to talking, obviously. But there's things that in relation to training that we don't necessarily pick on, that we just do anyway. So for example, if I'm waiting here now for you to talk, I'm looking at your eyes, I'm waiting to see if you've got something to say. A lot is said with the eyes.
Yeah.
So one of the things when people come into my work, for the first 15 seconds I'm already communicating with my eyes.
With your eyes. I get what you mean, yeah.
You are, because you're communicating.
Yeah.
You are.
It's a welcoming, isn't it? It's like, come and ask me a question. Are you okay? Do you need? Yeah. I know what you mean.
With your eyebrows too, right, lad?
With your eyebrows.
How's it going, lad?
Yeah, there we go.
Do you do the smile, or do you do what's going on when you walk past someone in the street that you kind of
smile?
know?
I think, yeah.
Thumbs up. Finger gun. Yeah.
I know. I think we are getting. I don't think we've got any speech impediments. I don't think Wendell needs to.
Yeah, we don't need to go on a Wendell experiment.
I don't think he needs to pay us a visit anytime soon.
I don't like Wendell.
No, I think he's fucked up some kids. I know he's done some good.
Yeah, he's.
But I think it's selfish, and I think he's fucked up some people for life. And I'm glad those people got that money, even though it was about 30, 50 years too late.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not it's more ethical than the Tuskegee one. Would you say?
I don't know, because they're kids.
Yeah, you're damaging kids.
Yeah, the Tuskegee are watching people in the last stages of syphilis.
But you could help them.
Yeah,
choose not to.
I know.
And we're going with the Stanford experiment.
So
is all right.
Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty. It's hard. They're all unethical.
Charles wants to say yes.
They're all really unethical. There's all like gaps in morality.
Yeah, I know. I get you.
But no, it's there's no good one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Maybe it sounds quite good to me.
I don't know. It's the Stanford's like I said before, is if you ask me to do a human experiment, that's what I'm looking at doing.
No, I totally
along
get
those
you.
lines. I'd be similar to that.
Yeah,
I think Tuskegee is really immoral. It's taking advantage of people.
Yeah,
I think,
and they have no consent.
I think the fact that there is help there. I think that the fact that they're just not helping the people.
Yeah,
like they're kind of leaving them and just watching them.
Yeah,
I think that makes it
in a dangerous level as well.
But
Like
almost,
they could die.
Yeah, but it almost makes it better than the orphans because he's actively going out to ruin those children's lives.
No, I see what you're saying there. Yeah.
Whereas he could have easily give the positive praise to kids with the stutter
Yeah.
for over a 12-week period, and then
Yeah.
over a 12-week period do nothing for kids with stutters,
Yeah. And
and
prove
watch
that there's a
them
difference.
keep a stutter, and then watch them lose a stutter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Without giving kids who don't have stutters.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it's just
But it wasn't just stutters, wasn't it? It was all like all the mental and psychological
mental illnesses
effects.
and ruining their lives.
Yeah.
So
The-
I think Wendell's the biggest dick.
Yeah, he's the biggest thing.
The biggest dick, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
10 out of
10 out of 10 on the morality scale.
Okay.
Right? Should we call that a pod?
Do you want to call that? I do have another one if you want to quickly go over that. Or
It's up to you guys.
we've done an hour and a half. I'll do this. 5 minutes.
Quick one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one.
Squeeze it in.
I thought only because of the number in it. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Okay.
So this was radiation poisoning in the height of the Cold War, 1960 to 1971. The Pentagon, obviously America again, was like looking at like like nuclear warfare and all that. They were looking at radiation effects. So they basically got this guy called Eugene Senger or something. He looked like he looked like a guy who'd run dodgy experiments. They basically got like 86 cancer patients, and like they were all poor and vulnerable. So everybody, all these people in experiments seem to be
Poor and vulnerable.
Yeah,
They're the ones who think they've got nothing.
you can
And they're
just
like,
take advantage.
yeah. Were they getting paid?
No. So basically, they took these 88 cancer patients, and they did full body radiation on them, like different types of like exposing them to radiation. But it was like the stuff that they didn't need for what specific cancer they they had. Like you can treat cancer with radiation, can't you? Like all that stuff. And they did like full body stuff, so it wasn't specific to and they didn't know. They thought they were getting treated for the cancer.
oh my god.
And basically, there was no consent forms or anything. They just did it on these cancer patients. They had no idea what was going on.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then, so the people got exposed to, this is like crazy, 20,000 X-rays in 1 hour.
What?
So that was like, you're only supposed to have like 6, aren't you, or something in it? Is it like a year or something like
I
that?
don't know.
They got 20,000 worth
Oh my
in 1 hour.
word.
20,000 X-rays worth of radiation in
Yeah,
an hour.
in an hour. That was one of the things that happened to them.
Fucking hell.
And obviously, like, they all suffered from, they said, like, the effects were, like, sickness, mental confusion, loss of appetite, heartburn, like, all these effects. They said a quarter of the patients by 1972 died from the radiation poisoning.
Oh my god.
I think all of them died eventually afterwards, but
Yeah.
by 1972, quarter of them died from the radiation
Oh my
poisoning.
word.
And that's what this is 19. So when was the Cold War?
It was, like, from, like, the end of World War II, wasn't it, to, I don't know, when did the Cold War finish? When Soviet Union disbanded.
Speaking foreign language to me.
Yeah. Like in the 90s. When did the Berlin Wall fall?
90s.
I presume it'd be that.
Yeah. I didn't realise it went on that long. Cold
Yeah.
War.
It was like the 80s. They had Russia going into like Afghanistan, didn't you, and all that.
Possibly.
But yeah.
But so yeah, so it was going on in that.
Well,
in
this
that
was 1960 to 71.
Okay.
It was run. This guy ran it.
So
but
it's
he-
that height of the Cold War.
Yeah. So he just got all these cancer patients that he could have helped,
Yeah.
could have provided them with like a service, like treat their cancer, but they just pumped them in all different ways of radiation and then just monitored them over so many years.
This is by far the worst.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah. You're not telling people.
Yeah,
Isn't
they
it
have
shit
no
that-
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful.
They're already sufferers.
And this was like run by the Pentagon, so it was run by the army. That goes into all that.
Why does that
my
cause?
word.
Why does war and why does like stuff like why is there so much? I bet there's so many human experiments
Get away with it.
from the Cold War period.
Oh,
Why
definitely.
did
Well,
they get like? Why did they have this stupid fucking thing
Yeah.
where they have to start doing things when
well, the maddest.
they're at war?
The maddest. I haven't can't even touch on it because it's an episode in itself. Is like the CIA operations and what they did, especially from Vietnam and like MK Ultra. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Like with Manson and all.
Yeah.
All that stuff. That's all experiments, isn't it? With the
Yeah.
mind and shit like
I
that.
think we've got a couple more episodes in us, haven't we?
Yeah. A few more deep experiments.
Yeah.
I'd like
episodes.
to look into that. MK
Yeah.
Ultra.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
But
Well, not cool.
you've rounded us off with the pretty cruel one there.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
I was just running through that quickly.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the worst then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take it back and pretend we didn't do that one.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose the argument is like they were cancer patients. Maybe you could have said they probably were going to die anyway.
So it doesn't
They
matter.
could have died anyway.
What was cancer care like back in the 60s?
Probably not great, right? But
Yeah, not
still,
good.
Still, doesn't
Survival
matter.
rate pretty low.
Mm.
You can't just do no.
It's
you
taking
can't.
advantage of people, isn't it?
Yeah, you
again?
just
Yeah.
can't. That's awful.
Yeah.
And to think you're treating them. You say, "Oh, we got this new treatment." No, I'm just going to pump you full of radiation and see
Yeah.
what happens to you.
Yeah, we're just going to do all different stuff throughout the years.
You didn't tell them. You
No,
have
they
to
had,
tell
they had
them.
no consent to
Yeah.
it.
And I bet they're in pain as well.
Oh, yeah.
Horrific pain,
Yeah, well,
radiation poisoning.
The thing is, they're suffering from the cancer as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then they've got this on top now, all this, like, making it worse.
Oh.
Oh, mate. I mean, just put yourselves in that situation. Like, if you have a bad illness, or if someone in your family has a bad illness, and you found out that they were being pumped with stuff, and they didn't know, and you didn't know, you'd be fuming. I'd
Yeah,
be
you'd-
fuming.
Definitely. 100%.
That's made me upset.
Well, another thing about this is what you said about all the others is, like, what was the whole point of this? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious that radiation poison, like, it's pretty obvious the effects of radiation, but even the 60s, they must have known the effects of radiation
Yeah,
poison and stuff like that.
That's going to kill someone, yeah.
Mm.
What was
So
he doing
why-
it for? Were they doing it for war? Were they looking at the effects of the weapons that are going to...
I think they were just trying to get,
They
like,
are, aren't they? That's what they're
Yeah.
doing. They're thinking, if we drop a bomb with this much radiation, and is it going to kill the people?
Yeah,
How long's it going to take?
Yeah, I think they're just getting, like...
And they're testing it on their own
statistics.
people.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And that's the...
Well, there's loads from the war, like the mustard gas one.
Oh, yeah.
They just tested that on all their own. The Americans tested that. African American people
yeah.
in their own army
Yeah.
just
So what's
tested
the
that.
Americans, man? What are they up
Fucked
to?
up, aren't they? They've got too many people for their own good. That's what it is. They need wiping out. They need to realise that you're going to be an endangered species.
I hope Russia wipes them out, man.
Yeah.
Putin.
Yeah, Putin, come on, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's not doing any experiments, is he?
He's up to his own shady stuff here. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I know. I bet, yeah. So, what are we going to look at next week?
Well, we've got loads. We could do the
We're going Nazis.
World War II stuff.
Okay.
More experiments.
Yeah.
Even darker ones.
Yeah,
Even
that's
more
what
fucked up ones.
That's what we want.
Yeah. I think Nazis going to lead us in nicely to the to a little series.
To a little series, yeah.
You fancy that?
Oh, yeah.
We're
That
gonna.
sounds
Have you got any more tricks up your sleeve, Steve? You
No,
wanna
I'm all good here now.
Get us with any malaria sufferers, anything like that?
I'm all good.
No. Right, we'll call it a pod. Listeners, thank you again, and we'll be back next week.
This was brought to you by Merdley Productions.